Okay, it's time to cut. What? That's right. That's right.
Hey, how y'all doing? This is Mongo Slade, and welcome to 3 Count Commentary. So today we're going to talk about Sheamus and versus Drew McIntyre, which, the inevitable that the seed they planted ye on months ago is finally starting to grow. Sheamus bro kicks Drew McIntyre. So Drew starts the show, and after he gives everybody the big pat on the back, the big hug for the great Royal Rumble and how great the Royal Rumble is, he starts talking about Edge, and Edge comes out there and he's telling Edge, how much he's thankful for Edge mentoring him, and he remembers when Edge had to retire, and it's a wonderful thing to see Edge now. You see Edge return, and he's happy for him, and he's proud of Edge. And let's pause right here for a moment, because I really like how Drew McIntyre always talks about the past, and like it makes it feel like it was one long story. Like sometimes guys don't talk about things that happened several years ago, but Drew McIntyre, since his sort of story is that he's the child of destiny and that he for a time fucked it up, it makes sense for him to be like, "Oh, I was on the roster when you had to retire. That sucks. You did all these great things for me. You looked out for me. You mentored me. And it makes him feel like a guy who's just been there forever, kind of like he's supposed to be there. Like it was inevitable that I would be here, and you do that by sort of linking the past and the current. But Edge was a little bit miffed because he was saying like, what's wrong with you? I'm a threat. I won the Royal Rumble. I am a viable threat to you. You should have kicked my head off, and you're out here, showing me all this respect and showering me with all of these compliments. And and Drew just kind of was like, yeah, some guys are champions like that. That's not the kind of champion I am. And I like that too. I thought that was, see, there's a thing about the warrior, right? When I talk about the warrior archetype, the warrior respects other people, because the warrior is a defender of boundaries, right? So Drew is a mature, confident, secure sort of warrior, sort of man champion. He's not threatened by Edge. He doesn't feel concerned about Edge. Like he's a fighting guy. Like this is what he does. So he's not on edge, to no pun intended, but he's not on edge about this thing. He's not worried about the Royal Rumble winner. He's not worried about the Money in the Bank. He's not worried about any of that stuff. He has a mission. He has a goal to be the best, in some ways, the best WWE champion, which means being a brand representative, being a fighting champion, honoring the title, respecting the title, all that stuff. He respects all these traditions. Doesn't try to fight against them. He kind of just says, okay, you won the Money in the Bank. You have the shot. Now I'm daring you to take it. And now he's basically doing the same thing to Edge. Like, okay, you won the Royal Rumble. I've got the belt. If you want it, you got to know what you're in for. There is no need to yell or scream or get violent about it. I know how this works. I did the same thing last year. I got in Brock's face. Now you're out here, and Edge wasn't really in his face. But it was kind of like showing respect, and that line of respect it's the connection to the Goldberg story from the day before, where McIntyre's always said he shows everybody respect, and he respects everybody, he respects everything, and it's that respect that he's always had and he was fought for, and that he feels like he had now, so he's a little bit more secure. Sheamus comes out there, and Sheamus is like, "Oi, what you looking at me that for?" And he's going off about, how dare you question this man? This is, how dare you question my best friend? And he's been leading us through all these tough times while you've been sitting out on your arse. He says, you may want to take the high road, but I don't. and he's like really looming over Edge. And Edge is no small guy. I think Edge was 6'4". I mean, probably with the neck surgery, he's probably not 6'4" anymore. But him with Edge standing between Sheamus and Drew McIntyre, he felt like an old man because they look like they look like fucking giants. Like those were two big guys, and so Edge was kind of like, you got a big target on your back. He says to Drew, you might want to be careful. And he's like, hey, what you looking at that for? Sheamus, what you looking at that for? What you looking at me for? And says, cause you got something to say. You better say it. And it's like, what is going on with Sheamus? And he's like super aggressive, but just, of course, that's Sheamus' character. I love that Sheamus dresses like he's straight out of the Gangs of New York. I love that look. That's a great look. That's 10 out of 10. That's a 10 out of 10. What was it called? The Butcher. I forget what his real name was. It was Daniel Day-Lewis that played. If you ever never seen Gangs of New York, you should definitely go watch it. It's an excellent movie. It's a little long though. It's Daniel Day-Lewis and Jesus, what's that guy? Leonardo DiCaprio. Anyway, Edge says he'll let Drew McIntyre know his decision, and he leaves. He exits stage left, or stage right. Left. Exit stage left. And so Drew kind of like, okay, if you want the title, here it is, whatever. And he's sort of eyeballing Edge, and when he turns around, Brogue Kick City, and he's knocked on his ass. And he wasn't knocked out flat. It was like he may have gotten stunned with a kick. And he just got knocked down. And later, Charlie, I believe it was, that chased down Sheamus. And she says, hey, you guys have been friends for 20 years. You've been friends your whole adult lives. Why would you do this? Why would you do that? And Sheamus is like, we're not friends anymore, and he wants the title. He wants the WWE Championship. The WWE Championship is more important than friendship. We'll get to that in a moment. So then we get, that was a very good stuff. Like, it was very short to the point. It was very short to the point. And then we get McIntyre. He get his promo later. And, he's a little red around the eyes. And I was kind of like, are they really about to get him to cry on TV? That would have been bad. That would have been bad for the character for sure. Yes, it's an emotional thing, but I don't think he should have been near tears. But he was sort of hurt. He was hurt. And even so, he was still sort of composed. He didn't lose it. He didn't scream about Sheamus. He didn't do anything. Charlie asked him a question. He said, it would be an honor to wrestle Edge. And then he said, Sheamus, Shamey, me old pal, me old mate. He starts talking about, families fight all the time. Brothers fight all the time. Which was said in a different clip. We'll talk about that later, though. So he says that they fight all the time, but this was different. There was something different in his eye. Something different in Sheamus' eye. And if he wants the WWE Championship, bad enough to throw away all the Christmases they spent together and all the time they spent alone, when they didn't have anyone else come into this country, if he's willing to throw it away, then Sheamus got it. Sheamus is going to get it. And so the match is, I guess, set. Now, we don't know when, we don't know where, but the match is going to happen. Now, there's 2 events between now and WrestleMania. Fastlane, Elimination Chamber. I would have thought Sheamus versus Drew McIntyre at WrestleMania would have been a big match. But it seems like they're probably going to use this as the holdover feud to get, so there's probably going to be an opponent that they're not focusing on now. It could possibly be Edge, of course, but it's probably going to be somebody coming from the bottom to wrestle McIntyre at WrestleMania. And Sheamus is going to get his shot at Fastlane and Elimination Chamber. I'm cool with that. Now, I did love this second promo from McIntyre because it was somber. It was sad. It was a little bit emotional. Not too much. He didn't literally cry, right? But he was definitely hurt that his friend, kicked him in the face when he wasn't looking. Now, these two have been, of course, fighting off and on, hitting each other. They did so months ago. They kind of got into a fight. Also, very interesting, Keith Lee did say this was going to happen. He said it was inevitable that Sheamus was going to turn on Drew McIntyre. He said this weeks ago. Several weeks or months ago, at this point. So that kind of begs the question of, is Keith Lee going to be the guy? Is Keith Lee going to be the guy that Drew McIntyre ends up wrestling at WrestleMania? It's entirely possible. I don't like the idea of a triple threat match. Get that out of your head right now. So I love this. Sheamus needed something. And this heel turn, even though it seems like Sheamus turning babyface, really kind of happened very slowly. And it also feel like it happened on a dime too. Because it seemed like the moment Drew McIntyre came to Raw, Sheamus was all of a sudden friends with people. Like, this is Sheamus that tried to kill Big E. This is Sheamus that called Jeff Hardy a drunk for like months and months. And then out of nowhere, he's like, "Oi, me mate, how you doing, man? I want to kick you in your arse, my good buddy." And he's just being, he wasn't really being a sidekick as much as he was just kind of being, a pal. And then, of course, this led to Sheamus losing a lot. He lost a lot over the last couple of weeks, which is kind of the question of how can he even warrant a title shot when Sheamus lost so much. But being the face is not Sheamus' strong suit. His strong suit is being a heel. Even though he was pretty good face back in the day, when he was pretty much bulletproof Sheamus. Not quite Superman, but, he is beating the shit out of Daniel Bryan. He beat him in like 18 seconds. And he went on that tear of just beating the hell out of Big Show and Alberto Del Rio. And everybody was like, "Oh my God, I can't believe I hate Sheamus so much." I like Sheamus then. Sheamus was cool. Not the Sheamus and Big Show stuff, though. I was not a fan of that. But because I hate Big Show. For all the new listeners, I do have quite a few. And I am proud of y'all. Thank y'all so much. Fuck Big Show. That's one of the many mottos of this channel. Learn the ground rules of this place. Fuck Big Show. He sucks. Okay. Now, Sheamus and McIntyre is probably going to be the first match against, it's probably going to be the match at Fastlane, which I think is before Elimination Chamber. So, I'm cool with that. Obviously, Sheamus is not going to win the title. I would have preferred for them to save this match for WrestleMania, because I think this is a bigger WrestleMania match where there's more emotion involved. Unless they could do something slick, they could have like a big blow off match at WrestleMania where it's like a steel cage or Hell in a Cell or something like that between these two guys. But I don't know. I don't see them dragging this feud for 3 months. And then hitting the exclamation point at WrestleMania. And then it also seems very strange because Sheamus again hasn't done anything to warrant getting a title shot. So I guess that now that Sheamus has a shot, you have to justify him getting a shot, which is post hoc and it's stupid. You don't justify somebody getting a title match after they've already got it, or after they've already agreed to be the champion, to the champion wrestling them. You're supposed to say, this guy's on a roll, he gets a title shot. Not, oh, you get a title shot, now you go on this roll. That's backwards. It's stupid, but it's WWE we're talking about here. Everything doesn't need to make sense. But I liked both guys. I'm a fan of both guys. This is going to be a physical ass match. I cannot wait for it. I hope it happens. I wish they could push it back to Mania, but it's probably going to happen at Fastlane. But let me know what you guys think. Let me know in the comment section below. Like this video, share this video, subscribe to the channel. Utilize hashtag 3Count commentaries to support 3Count commentaries, especially in other channels that you guys visit, to get other people to come here. I appreciate you guys, and I'll talk to you guys later.
Da 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 da